Hey, boredom, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to do a quick album review on the latest Twin Shadow album, Twin Shadow. Basically, their self-titled album. So, Twin Shadow is actually George Lewis Jr. from Dominican Republic, and he is an indie psych pop synth pop singer songwriter and has been making music for well over a decade now. Twin Shadow is his latest album, and self-titled is his latest album. First of all, I like to say that I like these very summery and tropical flavors of this album instrumentally. There are a lot of highlights on the album, the guitars, the drums, the strings, they all go over each other really well. But one thing I don't like about this album that is consistent throughout the entire album is the vocals. I think they're kind of weak. And I think the vocal processing is a little shoddy, a little spotty, maybe a little dusty, like he's singing through a filter or something at times, which is also why there are many moments on the album where I think the production is kind of lacking. Okay, what the heck is going on 33rd floor? Okay, anyways, we have the album opener Alemania, which is a nostalgic, deserty ballad with very easygoing drums, oozy keyboards, and these echoey vocal layers. Even though it does sound like he's singing through a filter, at least the echoiness of the vocals make them pop out so much more. And overall, it is a really welcoming album opener. That's really nice. Then we have the track Sugarcane, which is a catchy synth pop song with a pretty simple drum beat, even though, again, production wise, there can be improvements, but I still enjoy the track for what it is. The third track is Jonnie and Jonnie, and this is where the vocals really make me go, okay, maybe this song is not that good. I mean, instrumentally, it is totally fine. It's a groovy, ska flavored track, but what really makes this track not enjoyable for me is the chorus. It just sounds really stiff and rigid, and the vocals are just really weak. They're so thin and they're so buried throughout the mix of the instrumentals. And given how stiff the chorus is, it just sounds kind of there and kind of awkward. The track Get Closer is a really good follow up to Jonnie and Jonnie. It is groovy and simultaneously really intimate. We have these very dramatic hooks with a lot of strings and bass, and lyrically, it is about communication and relationships, which is really nice. And the next track is even more politically conscious. We have the track Is There Any Love, which is essentially about, police brutality, protests. And the track is actually really funky with its guitars and its shouty performances. Then we have the album basically going downhill from there, unfortunately. Gated Windows is a track about his homeland, Dominican Republic, and yes, lyrically and thematically I like it, but the instrumentals, and I also really like the instrumentals. They're very thick, they're very lush, but what I don't like about this track is that the instrumentals are so thick, it completely buries the vocals. The vocals are barely existent on this track, and because of that, it just sounds like the track is not going anywhere. And then we have the track Modern Man, which is a pretty skeletal ballad, and instrumentally, it is just kind of forgettable. Lonestar is a track where he talks about feeling lonely, feeling abandoned ever since at a young age, and it's got some really nice vocal harmonies and very nice guitars. And then the album ends off with Brown Sugar, which is kind of similar to Lonestar lyrically with similar themes, but overall it is just a mid-paced synth pop track that I think I've already heard a little bit earlier in the album. It just feels kind of average and a little regular in the standards of this album. And the album ends off with I Wanna Be Here, Shotgun, which is a very mild ending. Instrumentally, it is totally fine. It is really feel good. It's got nice skippy guitars and drums, and lyrically, it is about feeling like wanting to be here in the moment, feeling like wanting to live. But there's just something about the ending of the album that's just kind of mild. Like, it just doesn't pop out to me. It's just not that memorable. The production is still, it still leaves a bit to be desired, and it's just not all that great of an ending. So yeah, Twin Shadow's self-titled album, I I'd say it's pretty good, but would I say it's great? Would I say it's worthy and deserving of ending up in my top 50 albums list at the end of the year? Nah, I don't think so. But good effort nonetheless. Favorite track here is Alemania, and my least favorite is Jonnie and Jonnie. I'm giving Twin Shadow's self-titled album a strong 6 to a light 7 out of 10. So, if you listen to the latest Twin Shadow album from Under Demonstrated, like, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. I just recently learned that KSI dropped a new album. I didn't even fucking know that. Earlier this morning when I woke up, I didn't even know that. I only learned recently. Why haven't anybody told me? Also, Tones and I album review. I have to review it. You know me. I have to review that. And an album that I'm waiting for to drop is the latest Alexis Marshall album, which I will definitely review. And then by the end of the month, we have a new Billie Eilish record, so you have that to look forward to.